All right. I think we're live. Hello. Let me move this over here. Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing? How's things? How's life? How's yours? How has your week been? Hello to Jim, who's watching on the VOD. How you doing? How has your week been? Hope it's been alright. Oh, I have a weird notification. Hello, John. How you doing, man? Oh, I can make this a members-only live stream if I wanted. Also on Twitch. Wonderful. Well, hello. How you doing? How's your week been? Hello, Ish. How you doing? How's things? I have a Q&A question and then chores. Go for it. Hello, Simon. Hello, BitCloak. Hello, welcome. How is everybody doing? How's things? How's life? How's yours? How has your week been? Oh, okay. Quick, not Q. Fair enough. Fractal no data 4. Okay. Right, yes. Got it. I'm good. Week's been okay-ish. Kind of busy, but not urgent deadlines, so pretty good. Nice. Hello, Simon. How you doing? How's things? I've had those glasses before. As in, these? I mean, fair enough. These are from Glasses Direct. I think these are the Knox frames. Plan is to get 4 terabytes for the main pool in RAID Z1 and later maybe expand to 4x because apparently you can do that now in scale. Yes, you can expand the pool, which is pretty awesome. For 1 terabyte RAID Z2 for spare, 1.8 terabytes backup. I mean, fair enough. I definitely lean towards, like, let's say, not preferring many relatively small capacity drives. Although I do know, as we talked about, whether it was last week, the week before, or 3 months ago, who knows, it all blends into one, that, price is a bit different from, where you are and whatnot, so totally fair enough. I guess my question is, how much would 4 1 terabyte drives cost compared to 1 or 2 terabyte drives for you? Like, is that 4 1 terabyte drives that you already have? In which case, fair enough. You're just paying for the power at that point, basically, and whatever, board or whatever you have. But yeah, 2 120 gig NVMe's in mirror for install. Fair. Yeah. Yeah, I have 7 1 terabyte drives. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Hello B. How you doing? How's things? Hello Tammy. How you doing? Um, we heard that you weren't super well last week, B. So I'm very glad to have you here. Hope you're doing okay. Both my Samsung phone and iPhone are covering the chat up when I open the keyboard. Why can't YouTube just leave its app alone? I know. I mean, I've not tried to like watch and chat on a live stream on the YouTube app in a while, but yeah, the changes that YouTube keeps making are. How am I? Desperate Dan Chin is disappearing, but upper lip is reacting. Yes, I had electrolysis on the upper lip today. The chin is pretty much back to normal. Yeah, it still kind of hurts. um, but yeah, otherwise, how am I? Fine, I guess. I, I, hmm. Uh, Actually, ask me again in a minute when I answer John's questions, because actual tech questions are probably more relevant to talk about anyway. You got me thinking about apps. Now my question is, 256 gig enough for a couple of apps, or should I do 500 gig for Mirror? Still don't know what apps, probably Plex or Jellyfin, maybe some other stuff. Any recommendations? So the nice thing about most of the apps is that they don't take up that much space. You are like, so I run uh Pi-hole, uh Plex and Jellyfin. What else do I run? I have lots of stuff that I set up but don't use anymore, or whatnot. Like Qbit is running. I've got AMP running, which is great. And there's probably other stuff that I'm getting. I also run a couple of virtual machines for stuff like well, AMP, but also for Jenkins for continuous integration pipeline, stuff like that. So yeah, besides stuff that actually needs virtual machines, the stuff like Plex and all that really don't take up that much space. Your 120 gig boot drives will be fine for that. Obviously, with like Plex or Jellyfin, the media storage will take up space, but I assume that's what you're storing on your main pool anyway. So yeah. Uh, yeah. They don't take up much space. I would highly recommend Pi-hole as the main, like Pi-hole, and then something like Plex or Jellyfin, WireGuard. If you've got any smart home stuff, Home Assistant. Yeah, I run Home Assistant. I run that in a VM though. Anyway, yeah. Um, ba 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 ba. B. I see, Annie. How you feeling? Right, I'll come back to that one. Not terrible, not amazing. The thing that I was laughing about but a moment ago is that about a month ago, I finally got my GP to give me a anti-inflammatory medication, like painkiller, basically, that in theory should help all of my joint pain, right? Because I live in pain and it's really, really annoying. Um, so I started taking that. It wasn't the best trial period because I dislocated my left knee, or partially dislocated, subluxated, my left knee, and I'm only just getting back to like full motion without pain, kind of thing. But on the days that I did take it, didn't really do much for me, and well, one, that's not really surprising, but two, because I have ulcerative colitis and GI problems, that's gastrointestinal specifically. I basically can't take non-steroidal anti-inflammatory medications, like ibuprofen, which sucks because that's the thing that helps. I know for the few months that I've been on prednisolone, which is a steroid anti-inflammatory, those were absolutely beautiful months because I was not in pain. So lovely. But you can't be on those long term. So yeah, my GP went, okay, well, you can't be on steroid anti-inflammatories and you can't be on non-steroid anti-inflammatories, so how about some opioids? So I now have opioids on my repeats. Tramadol specifically, not, bent or something, but yeah. So, yeah, yeah. Today I learned pineapple can burn the inside of my cheeks. It was a fruit salad with kiwi, pineapple, apple, oranges, and dates. Never again. Fair. Um, if you know, uh, um, yes, of course, show that. Um, nice one. Right. Um, fair enough on the cheek burning. Um, I mean, I suppose not fair, but at least now you know. Uh, that sounds like an allergic reaction unless you had an open wound and the sort of like acidic juice of the pineapple went in there, but fair. Doctors and their addictive drugs. Yeah, I mean, I've had tramadol on my repeats before with the gastrointestinal pain and whatnot, and joint pain actually. Um, but I've always tried to take it as little as possible because, you know, I don't fancy getting addicted, and also it wears out its effectiveness. So if I, when I inevitably have some sort of serious accident, whether that's biking, motorbiking, or driving, um, one of those things will cause me a serious accident at some point in my life. I'm quite sure of it. Uh, you know, it'd be nice to like be able to have like pain medication given to me and at work, you know. So yeah. Um Tramadol 200 milligrams twice a day, gotta love it. Yeah, pretty much. Um and thank you, B. Uh in the black and white days when everyone wore hats, doctors would prescribe heroin and cigarettes. Kind of seems like things are going back there. Yeah. And cocaine and vibrators, yeah. Um, John, I stopped asking how you are, just okay, King. Yes. Um, ba, 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 ba. Main pull for media, and I was thinking separate SSDs and mirror for the apps, but we'll see. Tell me about Pi-hole, don't really know anything about apps yet. Um, Yeah, so Pi-hole is an amazing bit of software that essentially gives your whole network ad blocking. The way that that works is when you're like your phone or your laptop, tablet, desktop, whatever, when you load up a web page, and the little ad, box tries to call home to Google AdWord or like double click for publishers, whatever, or whoever, Facebook's ads, Unity ads, whatever. It does a DNS request to find out where to go to for that ad, um, and you what do you call it? Pi-hole basically acts as your local DNS server, so that uh, any requests go through that before going to the internet. It also lets you add a lot of extra security like DNSSEC, which is awesome. It lets you use a preferred DNS provider instead of your ISP, which adds another layer of privacy for you. And it gives you ad blocking. You just add a load of whitelists, which there's a load of really common ones that are really useful, or IP lists, block lists, and then hey presto, that's it pretty much. You got to set your router to use the Pi-hole as the DNS server, but otherwise that's it. It's free. It is amazing. I'm pretty sure it's free and open source, which is even better. Love open source stuff. Yeah, it's really easy to set up, especially with something like TrueNAS. Like it's a couple of clicks and that's it, up and running. Uh, yeah, yeah, it's really good. I just update a list manually on the router instead of needing a separate device. I mean, fair enough if your router has that capability. I know that like PF and OpenSense routers have a lot of, and even OpenWRT has a lot of extra features like that, which is awesome. But if you have an ISP supplied router like I do, which works just fine, then something like a Pi-hole that you just point to as your DNS provider is sweet. The last time I was prescribed steroids, I broke my ankle. Now I need even more powerful drugs. Yay, tolerance! Woo. When I find the time, I'll try and figure the basics out. Probably gonna stick to Pi-hole and Plexajelly. Yeah, fair enough. Like I said, you really don't need a whole lot of extra space for your what you call it? For the apps. So yeah. Plex or Jellyfin though? Plex looks more polished but need to give up privacy. Sort of. So a long time ago, Plex gave me a lifetime. I can't even remember what it's called. Like the paid Plex Premium whatever account, like or key or whatever. So I use it. Plex Pass, thank you. I use it a lot because why not? Although I'm not entirely sure what features Plex Pass like includes. I know that there's a lot of like watching live TV, which I don't do. What do you get? Compare what you get. Remote watch pass. Oh, so you now need a Plex Pass, or maybe you always did, to watch stuff outside your network. Right. Got it. Yeah. How much is the Plex Pass for a lifetime? Well, the website's broken, so I can't find out how much the lifetime pass actually costs. Silly thing. But yeah, $149, fair. I'm trying to read a load of stuff and pretend. Right. Focus. Plex versus Jellyfin. I use Plex primarily. It is certainly more polished. There's a lot of extra stuff that, at least so far anyway, because I've only set up Jellyfin relatively recently when Plex was misbehaving. But it generally just works. Like, you can do media conversions and transcoding. You can do what you call it, like subtitles, and it will automatically search for relevant subtitles or let you search a load of different places for community provided subtitles, you know, in whatever language you want. You can do like it keeps track of what shows you've watched really well, like episodes and seasons and stuff. Yeah, whereas Jellyfin is like free and open source, which is great. Love that. But it is definitely, as you say, less polished. It's a bit harder to navigate. I think there's a few less features. Stuff like remote play, you kind of need to like set up rather than with Plex. It pretty much just works as long as you port forward 32,400. Yeah. But as Ish says, Plex can alter the deal later because you're paying for a lifetime license, but that might also mean, you know, they might come out with a Plex Pass Plus that that gives you a few more features, or even potentially changes what features you have access to on your current tier, and you need to upgrade to the higher tier later or something. Whereas with Jellyfin, free and open source, like, eh. Uh, I didn't feel Plex Pass added any value. I think the main thing is just if you're away and you want to watch your own stuff and you don't want to set up a VPN, yeah. Can you pipe in your YouTube account to Plex? Does that not work anymore? I've never tried, so I don't know. Hello Joe. How you doing, man? How's things? How you been? The AI Overlord says it's $2.49, but it's always on sale. Right, got it. Gonna look into it. The problem is time will not have it for the next 12 to 13 months. Fair enough. Honestly, might just stick to SMB share, network drive, and open files and VLC. I mean, fair enough, whatever works for you. Uh, if it works, then it works. But it is definitely a lot more of a polished experience from with Plex, for sure. Um, like it'll autoplay the next thing in the series. You can automatically skip credits and intros. Yeah, basically charging you to access your own stuff. Yeah, well, the the argument I'm sure that they give is that you're using their servers as a relay to access your own stuff. So while it is your own content, you're streaming it through their server to get to you. Um, so yeah. A lot of streaming sites charge money and still have ads. It boggles the mind. Amazon even has the extra ad-free tier. Yeah. The thing is, might be my age, I prefer folder diving to TV console style interfaces. Also, I can skip with the right arrow. I mean, yeah, you can also do that in Plex, but yeah, fair. Uh, Joe, life's been hectic lately. Mum's unfortunately very ill. I've been doing a lot behind the scenes, groundworks for setting up new things for Gadget Joe and new endeavors. Hope you've been as well as you can be. Well, first, sorry to hear about your mum. I hope um, she can recover quickly, or uh, you know, hope she's good. And yeah, nice on the laying the groundworks. Awesome. Um, I hope you're hope you're doing good. Hello, Mike. How you doing, man? How's things? Doing some benchmarking on some eBay purchase. Listening in the background. Nice. What is it you're benchmarking, or what are your eBay purchases? Or is that a hint for a future video we just need to wait and see for? Um, she had a cardiac arrest a couple of weeks ago. She's going through a lot, unfortunately, but she's still with us and fighting. Well, I wish her all the best, and I hope you're doing okay too. Don't really see the benefit of Plex, etc., to just picking files from a folder. Not saying my way is the right way, just want to hear your point of view. Why is it better? Um, well, like I said, the for me, watch like the fact that you've got thumbnails, the fact that you've got like a lot of information, like how many seasons you have, how many, or like what the film is, the fact that you can see like the blurb and stuff. For me, I'm often just sitting like wondering, what should I watch? And then I can just go on Plex, have a little look through, read a few blurbs, and go, yeah, that sounds good, and start watching. Or for watching TV shows, being able to keep track of what you've watched, where you got to, even like midway through an episode because you have to run out, it just auto plays back from where you stopped watching. It's really really nice. It's just a lot of like added convenience, ease, and more of a like, instead of just like looking at file names for stuff, actually being able to see like this is episode X. Um, but isn't the media you're browsing the same media you acquired, or do you browse online repositories? Well, yes, it's all media that I've downloaded, but it is I a lot of the time I'll download stuff that I think I want to watch, but I haven't necessarily committed. But if I've got it downloaded, I have the option. Um, or maybe it's I haven't watched it in a while and I want to rewatch, or I want to brain's gone blank. Yeah, I don't know. It's very convenient for me. For me, it's quicker to see 50 file names than to scroll up and down or whatever. I mean, when I look at Plex, like, as let's say films, there are, uh, I don't know, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's a 10 by 3 grid of uh, thumbnails, like the movie poster, uh, along with information about. So in this case, I generally sort by date added or date viewed. So when I'm looking at date added, I can see when I added it, but also when the film, like what year the film is from, and obviously the title. And then you can like click on the thing to see who's in it, some reviews, the uh the blurb. Um, can you group it all to Star Wars or sci-fi? I'm pretty sure there is categories. I don't tend to use categories that much. Uh, I don't know. Can you do I mean, add to queue, add to watch list. Mm, add to collections. Yes. So yeah, you can for sure. To be fair, my position on the spectrum might be a different number than yours. I mean, that's very true for most people, but yeah. Might got an RTX 4070 for £330. Need to test it to see if it's cursed. Nice. Sounds like a decent deal. 4070 Ti Super was on sale for 500 USD. Sadly, it was 30 kilometers away. Fair. I mean, that does sound like an also pretty decent deal. Uh, just keeping up with managing episodes and series is a pain in the arse for me. I tried to automate it, but it never really worked properly. As in, you try to automate downloading new episodes, or please tell us more, Simon. At the current rate of subscriptions, I need to get my Blu-ray format shifting machine working again. I think we generally call that ripping media. Um, Funny. I always had issues streaming from my Plex server when away from the house. Did port opening, etc., but it was always hit and miss. I actually had the same thing. Like I have had Plex running on uh 4 different machines over the years in different iterations. Um, and it's only until the most recent one that it has been very stable. Um, so yeah, I'm not entirely sure what changed, but yeah. I loved Windows Media Player back in the day. They killed it from Windows 10. There is a workaround, but at least I still have one HTPC running Windows 7. Fair. There was actually part of my like Windows initial setup install script is installing it. It re-adds Windows Media Player. Actually, Windows Photo Viewer is also one that I require in my system. Downloading and arranging files into folders. I had some software that was supposed to grab the files, move them into the correct folder, but it never worked. Yeah, I have a lot of experience with watch folder type stuff. Mostly from like the content creation side of things, because when I film stuff, I bring uh my shiny gold SD cards downstairs, and then I just plug it into my PC with this SD card reader that's right here. It's USB 3 one. It's nice and fast. Uh, that then with Adobe Media Encoder open will automatically start encoding the footage that's on the SD card onto my NAS. So it ingests it and it downsamples it bitrate wise, because I don't need any more than my export bitrate, which is generally 30 megabits per second. So the either 100 or 180 that my two cameras output is unnecessary, so I may as well save the data space, like save the hard drive space. So I render it down to that as I ingest it, which is great. Um, and yeah, it means that it's all automatic. The problem is that only Adobe Media Encoder has actually worked for me in terms of automatically like using watch folders to then do stuff with files. I don't know why, but yeah. So there you go. I think all it does is just like check if there is new files in the folder, because it moves them to a source folder after starting like messing with them or whatever. Um, so yeah, it just like every 10 seconds or so it checks the folder to see if there's anything there to be encoding in this case. So like you could do a cron task with that, or I guess a Windows task scheduler task. Uh, but yeah, bit disappointing. The Noctua 5080 is tough based with the 12-volt monitoring thing that the Astral has. Hoping the Noctua 5080 Super comes soon, TM. It's so chunky though. Yeah, I mean, we've seen how much of a mess the 12-volt high power connector is. So yeah. Um, B, just buy the Noctua fans and tie them to any GPU cooler of your choice. Um, my heart will know it's not the same. Ugly, I'm still gonna get it because building an all Noctua computer. Fair enough. I also had a bit of software that looked like a calendar with episodes, and it was supposed to auto download, but it was hit and miss. Yeah, fair. I know that was it radar and sonar, I think, and TDAR. Uh, yeah, there's a couple of bits of software that do auto download stuff, but trying to get them set up is wild as well. So R stack, yes, all of them. There's a lot of them. Um, but sonar, music, radar, TV. I know, radar film. I can't remember. There's various bits of software that are ARR, like end in ARR. So sonar, radar. Um, that all do auto downloading media. Long live Internet Protocol Television. I remember Wendell and Logan, formerly of Tech Syndicate fame, talking about that on their news show that I can't remember what it was called. Oh, Christ. Internet Protocol by Avian Carrier. um, did I miss anything? I'm hoping to have some time. I've just pretty much just finished a project, helping someone else out. So I'm hoping to be able to get back to my peripheral testing tool soon. It has unfortunately fallen by the wayside a little as I've been otherwise overwhelmed with my body, and let's call it a paid project. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting this. I'm looking at it, by the way. I'm looking down at my my prototype with my circuit board and whatnot, and the little case that sort of holds it in place, and the limit switches that will be actuated as the block goes by. Yeah, I've just not really been able to do much with this yet, or recently. And I would like to get back to it where possible. So yeah. It's always one of those things where when you're, you know, mid project, you always think, oh, I'm quite close to having this done. It shouldn't be too long. And then 6 months go by and nothing's happened. Yeah. I have a whole bunch of monitors coming this week, actually. I just realized I just had a 610 hertz monitor delivered. Yeah, 610 hertz. So I'll have a couple of videos on that soon. And then I've got a 500 hertz QD OLED coming, and another one as well that I can't remember. Timelines can be unrealistic when you create and iterate stuff. That is for sure. Because you don't know what you don't know, and you think like, oh, it's only a few more steps to get this thing done. And then before you know it, you're 6 months in without any progress, and it's just no, I wanted to know what the monitor was. A Philips 27E3 U7903. Oh, Philips. Your monitors. Oh, that's the really funky one. Ah, yeah. Philips have a 5K monitor. It is £899 apparently. 70 hertz. IPS apparently. That'll be here next week. I was quite unwell for a few weeks, but I'm back to 99% now, which is nice. Nice to be well. Wonderful. I'm glad. How many nits for 600 hertz? Well, it's a TN monitor, so not many. Let me find the email. Uh, la, 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 la. Ba, 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 ba. It was the AG246FK6. There you go. 610 hertz. 1080p. TN panel. Adaptive thinking, low input lag. Where's the specs? Product spec page. There we go. WLED. 1000-to-1 contrast. Apparently 500 nits. Huh. There you go. There you go. Huh. Interesting. Any new mini LED panels? No. I haven't seen any no. Micro LED is coming, 10K nits, OLED refreshing colors. Nice. I mean, that would be pretty cool. Is micro LED OLED but manufactured rather than grown? Or is micro LED like mini LED in that it's just a backlight tech? I can't disassociate disassemble mini LED, micro LED, organic LED. Without having a lot of experience with them. We're at 500 hertz already. I can't afford a 300 hertz monitor anytime soon. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be too worried about it. In fact, one of the videos that I'm making is like why buy a 500 hertz plus monitor, which I think will be cool. To be honest, I'm not too sure. Just that a 100-inch panel right now is like $60,000. Micro LED is the dream monitor tech. Fair. It's hard to make them small right now, but they will. Fair enough. Never burn in. I mean, that'd be great. Yeah. Although saying that, I'm still using a QD OLED and there's still no burn-in on it, despite having used it. Uh, we must be close to 2 years now. We must be. It's been over a year, possibly two, that I've used it every day. So yeah. Uh, only 7,500 easy payments of $8. Hmm. That's a Tim question from Monitors Unboxed. That's true. He's been running burn-in tests, if I remember rightly. 10,000 nits will feel like blinding lasers. Yeah, yeah, it will. You don't want to run at 10,000 nits. You don't want to run at 2,000 nits, really. Um, what's the nits to lux comparison? I ask because I know that I have a light meter app. So this how many lux am I getting? Looking at this light. Apparently about 700, give or take 600 lux. Nits is candelas per square meter or something. So I'm currently looking at about 200 nits worth of light, apparently, according to my phone. Not really accurate, but yeah. Hold on. Let me open that up again. Right. Come on. Play ball. So that's 5,500 lux, right? So I'm currently looking at 1,750 lux. It's quite bright. Yeah, okay, I'm done. What a difference that makes. Well, what's fun is that like if you look at the lights behind, like they're almost like they're pretty dim with 1,700 nits of light. Um, I don't know. I feel like that's a bit better. Hmm. There you go. Having fun with my lights. It's fun to be able to control that from Home Assistant as well. This is an Elgato ring light. And yeah, being able to like uh, control it remotely is fun. Don't blind yourself. Our spectacles don't help. Well, yeah. I mean, I do spend a decent amount of my days upstairs with uh, one of Elgato's panel lights, full brightness in my face. Two other panel lights from Godox, full brightness in my face, and then one behind me, also, not in my face actually, and not full brightness either. Uh, so yeah, I do spend a lot of time being blinded by lights, so it's fine. I can bring daylight to about 1,000 people with my video wall. I love it when Axe wants flashbangs. That must be fun actually. Like being on stage or whatever and watching, an entire crowd get, flashbanged from a display. It wouldn't be very fun being in the crowd, I don't think, but yeah. Uh, some love it, some not so much. I I'm in the not so much camp. For sure. I have to go and clean Jen's lounge room, especially his couch. I'm sure he just left a handful of Nvidia stock back there, Ah, I haven't been taking my asthma inhaler recently because it's been burning my like lungs and throat a bit. Uh, the the reliever part of it, I have a like combined one. Um, and yeah. Hello, Chris. How you doing? How's things? I'm gonna watch your NM1090 video later today, wondering how it competes with the C705 and the new Samsungs. Well, I don't have the new Samsungs, but I do have the newer version of the T705, the T710, and I do directly compare it in that video, so do check it out. The answer is quite well. um, my lips are sealed, B. um, was chatting with my dad's new next door neighbor. Turns out he used to build Formula Ford cars for the same team Senna raced for. Nice. What a small world. Kind of wild though. Especially just to run into them as a new neighbor. Yeah. Nice. Nice. Oh yeah, if you're in the UK, by the way, and you haven't already, leave a comment. Check out the AMP like game server build guide video because we're giving away that PC and it ends tomorrow. Winners will be announced on Discord in general at 8 p.m. Or winners. The winner will be announced. So yeah, make sure to check out. There, yeah, he can rebush my MG for me. I do like I've got a hydraulic press. It's a really crap one though. So I want to I would like to what do you call it? Get a better one basically. We're gonna be getting hopefully anyway a storage unit not far from me that's basically like there's a road bridge that goes over a main train line and it what do you call it? Basically under the bridge there are storage units like garages, lockups that go the whole length of the bridge, so they are real deep. Like basically the storage unit that we're looking at is easily 3 cars wide by possibly 4 cars long. It's wonderful. So yeah, we're hoping to get that for a very reasonable rental sum. Pretty soon actually. And then I can like finally buy another bike. And store stuff like that. All those sorts of tools, have them actually like out and usable. Yeah. His press isn't hydraulic, but can still exert 6 tons of force. Is it an arbor press then, rather than a hydraulic press? Like teeth and a big lever arm. Because arbor presses are great as well. You just don't have the same. I mean, you've got a mechanical advantage. That's the whole point. But hydraulics give you more mechanical advantage and a consistent mechanical advantage because of the hydraulic pressure. Anyway, I'll send a pic next time I see it. Fair enough. It's threaded. Oh, okay, yeah. I think I know the type. Not rail arches. A railway line runs under the bridge, but it's a road bridge that goes over. Also has a 400 amp welder that's too powerful for the local grid. Nice. No worries, Tommy. Have a wonderful week. Hopefully we'll see you next week. Yeah, that's great. I also want a welder that we'll probably have in there. Um, Actually, I want two welders. I want a MIG and a stick, a MIG and a TIG, but MIG first probably, especially because you could use flux core wire and then you don't need a gas bottle. Although gas bottles aren't too expensive, so meh, whatever. Yes, the setup for his 280 amp one. Oh, what a shame. Most can do all types. Uh, you can buy combined units for sure. It's just inevitably we're gonna buy, like me and my friend Dan, who I'm sharing the unit with. We're gonna buy like the cheapest welder, basically, like that works. Um, which will be probably a gasable MIG welder, so that we have the option. Um, but probably use it with flux core wire to start with, for just like basic stuff. And you know, grinder and paint makes me the welder I ain't. Um, yeah. I feel like TIG welding invites artistry. MIG welding is like blunt practicality. I'm sure you can do nice welding with MIG, but TIG does feel more like artistry. TIG's more like soldering. I've got a lot of experience doing that. Uh, so TIG is tungsten inert gas, and MIG is it just metal inert gas? TIG is basically where you use a tungsten rod sharpened to a point, purely as the like heat source to melt the metal, and then you use filler rods, like rods of steel or whatever, to stack dimes, to fill in the gap that you're creating or that you want to fill in. Whereas MIG uses the filler wire as the electrode. So as you press the button, it not only energizes the wire, but it also starts feeding the wire out of the end of the nozzle. So as you know, touch it on the metal you want to weld, it sparks and melts and then, you know, welds. Um, the reason that TIG is generally more artistry is that you can just use it to fuse the metals rather than fill them, and you have more control over it. So, yeah. Whereas MIG, you just kind of you can change the feed rate of the wire, the electrode wire, but you kind of get what you get, and especially with flux core because it's flux on the inside, it sputters a lot like stick welding does. Whereas at least if you've got gas, it's less spluttery. I say all this never having welded before, but I have sure watched a hell of a lot of videos on it, which definitely makes me an expert. Um, it sounds like I've used MIG to join two pieces of pipe, because why not? Fair enough. I do intend on taking a course, a welding course, at the machine shop. Uh, I would like to say soon, but life is busy and messy. Nice. Is this after you become a gas installation technician? Good point. Turns out that if you use R290, which I think is just propane, like if the AC unit you're installing uses R290 instead of like R134A or whatever. You don't need F-gas certification because it's not an F-gas. It's not a refrigerant gas, technically. So you can actually install it just fine at home. So that's probably, when I inevitably decide that I do in fact need air conditioning in here and upstairs, yeah, I'll just look for one that's uses R290 and I'll be good to go. Right. Well, just collected level 2 TechteamGB techs. I could, but no. Are there two gases with different cooling, more or less efficient? No, so they both use an inert gas like argon. There is it's not for cooling, it's for oxidization. So once you've melted the metal, the oxygen in the atmosphere really wants to react with it and ruin the weld, make it brittle and fail. So you pump inert gas around it to basically isolate it until it's cold enough to no longer directly react. Yeah, that's why you always have some sort of flux, whether that's flux core wire or whether that's flux on the outside of a stick electrode or whatnot. Oh, right, okay, AC. Sorry, I forgot we'd already switched topics. I forgot. There are differences in the boiling point, yes. I don't know how much efficiency difference that actually makes. But yeah, one is generally slightly lower refrigerant point, but worse for the environment. Or is it the other way around? Higher boiling point? Yeah. Propane is still a very good refrigerant gas, to be honest, so it's fine. What is the welding process that uses LPG and brass rods? That sounds more like brazing. Brazing is where you don't melt the metals, you just use a lower melting point metal to fuse it together like soldering. Soldering and brazing are basically the same thing. Generally more heat involved in brazing, but still. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Hope you all stay safe. Hope you all have fun. And yeah, catch you guys next week. Bye.